Yeah, actually, it was interesting when the teams came out today. There was a huge banner in the Chelsea end saying Petr Cech, Premier League legend. He will sort of start his farewell tour to the Premier League between now and the summer, having announced that he's going to retire. And Rachel sent us his love letter to Petr Cech. Have a look.
There's only one way to describe Big Pete, and that is a Chelsea legend. Obviously, he's won all the domestic trophies and holds all the clean sheet records, but we will never forget him for that one night in Munich. Saved 3 penalties, pulled off many world-class saves, and ultimately was the main man responsible for making us win the Champions League. What an absolute hero, and it would be great to see him back at the club at some role in the future.
You wanted him at your club, didn't you?
Yeah, around 2004 he signed for Chelsea, and it was mooted that United might be interested in him because we was having a bit of a transition of goalkeepers at the moment at that time, and he signed for Chelsea. And in the years after, I was thinking, wow, we missed out because he was formidable. His size, he's intimidating. He had a great presence about him, cool, calm, and made big saves at big moments. And he was when you spoke to any of the lads at England, like Frank and that, about how good is he? Listen. He's brilliant. You look behind you and you're pleased when you look back and see him. So he was a great...
Let's not forget he came back from a really bad injury. He fractured his skull. And he had to wear that cap really for most of his career. Outstanding. He's on that list of perhaps the top 5 goalkeepers that we've ever seen in the Premier League. Where he is on that list is debatable. But
where do you think he is on that list?
I think he's probably in the top 3 or 4 in the list.
With?
Well, I think Schmeichel, Seaman, the likes of De Gea, I think now is taking things to another level with his saves with his feet. Van der Sar as well was very underrated. Came to Manchester United quite late in the day from Fulham, and you could hardly beat him. The way that he wingspan he seemed to have. There's been a lot of good goalkeepers over the years, and Petr Cech, Seaman's up there. I mean, I think it was inspiring for us whenever we asked him to make a save. Invariably, he made it. And when you see a goalkeeper pick one out of the top corner on its way into the back of the net, you feel almost invincible. And Dave certainly had that about him. So yeah, he's up there. But he's also actually, if you meet him, Petr Cech, there's an intelligence about him. I think he should be staying in the game as a coach. And this is where it's like at Arsenal, I'd like us to fight for what I've considered to be the right sort of people. You know, he might be taken back to Chelsea to be a coach, but if I was around the club, I'd be saying, he's not going there, he's going to work for us. Because I think you want the right people in the building, his work ethic, the way he conducts himself, the role model. I think he's an outstanding individual and he's been a great success.
I had a conversation with Emma Hayes yesterday, who's obviously the Chelsea ladies head coach. Yeah. And she was giving me a little bit of insight into Petr Cech and how much more of a leader he is than people think, because he's not screaming and shouting. He's more... he's got that quieter voice, but people listen when he talks. But also, he goes out of his way to do things. When they had their big FA Cup finals or big games throughout the season, he would go in and do a whole kind of like presentation on how to prepare their minds and how important these special moments are in their career.
Team.
Correct. Yeah. Now Martin talks about the man. I'm not sure I came across many people like that in my career. Going out of their way to do things like that and have an influence on others in that way and try and help them through big moments. And you're right, Martin. It's how many more do Arsenal just drift away out the doors? You're talking about people like Ramsey, Oxlade-Chamberlain. Fair enough, okay, but the experience and that kind of know-how that Petr has. My first question is: he's 36. Why is he retiring? Go and be a number 3 and just guide Leno. He's right at the start of his journey. Guide him in this Premier League as to how he can get to anywhere near where.
You don't want him lost to the game, do you?
I get why he probably doesn't want to retire. He's been right at the top his whole life, challenging, winning European Cups and challenging for leagues. I get it, but at the same time, I feel like he must have so much information to pass on to the other goalkeepers, or to the kids in the youth teams and so on.
Is it a hard thing, do you think, to go from being the main man? Because as the goalkeeper, you play or you don't. It's not like you come in and out of the team. To go from being the main man and making saves like that to going to be a number 2 or number 3, maybe it's partly an ego thing. It's a hard thing to drift away.
Courtois came in and took his place, didn't he? No disgrace in that. And I think at the start of this season, he was going for it. It was like he was scrapping for his life to stay in the team. There seemed to be the world and his man was against him a little bit because of the way that perhaps the manager wanted to play and he couldn't be as creative and pass the ball. I don't think Leno's any better than him in that department, to be honest with you. I think that Leno is perhaps the current future.
I think Leno is better with his feet. I think Leno is better.
He might be better, but I think perhaps Petr Cech is still a better goalkeeper, and that's, he's 36 years of age, and he's decided to bow out. Maybe he wants to spend a bit of time with his family. The work demands are quite extensive. I think he lives on one side of London. Maybe it's taking him quite a journey to. People will laugh at that, but it might take him 2 hours, 3 hours to get home each day, and he's decided he wants to just sit out.
There's no football at the end of the week. I mean, it makes a difference, doesn't it?
Playing is the oxygen for every player. It doesn't matter if you're Petr Cech or you're just starting out in the game.
I think the game's evolved now. The demands on a goalkeeper and the requirements of a goalkeeper are so much different to when he would have started out. When you talk about a goalkeeper nowadays, they ask you, one of the first one or two questions is, can he play? Is he good with his feet?
Yeah.
Distribution. That was never ever, that was unheard of when he would have started playing football. And that's the whole change. It shifted totally. So, and I don't think his game probably leans towards that. In terms of basic goalkeeping and saving the ball, keeping the ball out of the net, he's tops.
And you think that would influence his decision?
I think so, yeah, because I think that the distribution part of goalkeepers' games now are under scrutiny more than ever.